Hey everybody, it's Bendy Hammers with Steel Target Paint Team and Bendy Hammers shooting page. I recently acquired a new practice tool from my buddy Gabriel Sanchez. He has his own website and he's going to be one of the sponsors for us at the Free State Steel Challenge match. That's going to be 5sensesarmor.com, and you're going to want to go there and then look at his blue steel line. Okay, so what he's got going on is a couple things. I've been using his stands ever since I bought my own steel. So he's got these stands. You can get 5 of those, and they're actually dual purpose, actually more than dual purpose now. He's doing a lot of cool modular things. But originally they were dual purpose. They had the 2x4 in the center, and then on the ends, you can put the smaller sticks in there to do like USPSA type targets. So they served a dual purpose. However, now what he's doing is he's getting into some modular design like this, where in this particular case we're using 2 of his bases, and then now he has made these brackets where this screws into the side of your 2x4 here and then holds another 2x4 in a horizontal position, and then you can hang your plates on it and make a plate rack without having to have some monstrosity of a plate rack that's heavy and hard to move around, and then you don't use it as much. So this is basically 2 stands, 2 brackets, and the plates and their hanging brackets. So this is going to be a really cool practice tool for me, because one of the things that I'm really wanting to get into now is more of my Steel Challenge pistol, especially center fire. And in my mind, this is one of the best ways to practice the pistol. Everybody kind of starts out the same way. They start out in that static position, just putting, you know, 1 bullet through the same hole over and over and over and over and over and over. Well, what you start to learn is how to be accurate, but we're talking about wanting to be accurate at speed. Okay, so some of that hole inside a hole is going to be sacrificed to be able to go fast, and this is where you start to learn that. And this is one of the best ways to practice it. Now I have this set up with 5 plates. You can order as many as you would want to. You know, if you wanted to put 10 across a piece of 2x4, just have a long enough 2x4. And I've got a short 2x4 here, mainly for the video to keep it close. But this is what I had in the back of my truck too. So this is what we're going to work with. I think in the future, I'll get a longer one and we'll have more space in between. But this is what we're going to work with today. So here's what a plate rack does for you. Some of them have falling steel, which is cool, but a lot of those wind up being kind of heavy, or they wind up being a device that's on wheels and a trailer hitch and things like that. And they just become a little bit difficult and cumbersome to get out unless you have it in a, you know, static position where it doesn't move. But what this does is this allows us to set it up however we want. Though they aren't falling steel, it's going to give us the same thing that we get at Steel Challenge. We're going to get that you know, satisfying ding, and then we're going to be able to track where we're at. So a plate rack practice starts to teach you to transition, okay? And transition means more than just moving the gun, okay? It's moving your eyes, it's moving your knees, it's moving your hips, and the eyes and the gun, and then we're also managing recoil during transition. That's what you learn here. This is the best way to do it. Okay, so in a very simplistic term, you would come up and start to shoot these plates, and you would start to learn when you shoot this plate how to, while it's in recoil, be able to move to the next plate and then have the trigger prepped and ready to fire again on the next plate, and then be able to move smoothly across. So for my law enforcement and military friends out there, we're going to change the way that we've been taught to transition a little bit, okay? So here's what we've been taught so far. Come on in closer. So here's what we've been taught. Let's think of these fingers as the eyes, and then this is our, say, front sight. So what we're taught is to put the front sight on the target, and then our eyes looking at the front sight, okay? So we go bang, this goes into recoil, and then it comes back. Now, in transition, what we're taught is to move the eyes over here to the next target, and then move the gun into place. For law enforcement, military, and self-defense applications, that's absolutely what we want to continue to do. Not for this. For this, what we're going to want to do is we want to keep these things together. So as we move across this plate rack, we want these two things to stay together. Okay? Now obviously we're going to have recoil. So what we're going to have is we're going to have a recoiling gun. Okay? But we want the eyes to stay with that. So we're going to get recoil, 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 if that makes sense. Okay? But we want the eyes staying with the gun. And then we want our triangle staying with the gun. Okay? So the only thing that should be moving is our hips and knees as we turn. And I made a video on that. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But that's what we want. We want that triangle. Okay? And then we want our eyes to stay in the same spot. Now when we're shooting a dot, and we have that circle with a dot in the center, just keep your focus on keeping your eyes inside that circle of the reticle, or the the rectangle window, or whatever it might be. Just don't get your eyes outside of that reticle. Now I know there's a lot of you right now, especially the law enforcement and military friends, and they're going, whoa, 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 that is not how we're supposed to transition. And no, it's not. Not in the applications that we've been taught you. However, in this application, that is absolutely what we want to be doing. So that's what I'm going to start practicing, not only refining my draw, but refining how I'm moving a center fire pistol. Okay? I want to be able to come up with my dot, okay, and have my dot out here. If this is the gun, I want my eyes to stay with that the whole time. So we're going to get recoil, 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 recoil. That's what we want. Okay, what we don't want, unless you are practicing self-defense situation, what we don't want is recoil, move the eyes over here, and then move the reticle over to here. Now let me explain why. So what's been found at the top levels is that all of this stopping and starting is slow. Okay? So when you start here and you have this recoil, bounce, you move the eyes over here, and you got to bring the gun over here. Well, you're already focused on the target, especially if it's iron sights, and then you bring these over, and then you have to change your eyesight from the plate to this. But you're also starting with muscle, and then stopping it again. And then when we go to the next one, we're having to restart again. Get it over here, and then stop again. And then eyes over here, get it started again, get it stopped again. It's much faster if we have a fluid motion all the way across. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And maybe we'll talk more about that later. A really good video to go check out is Steve Foster and Chris Barrett talking about this. The particular video, to help find it, they're shooting Accelerator, and they started talking about this, and that's actually where I got it from. I went and trained with Steve Foster. I watched that video and I started incorporating that into my game, and it completely changed everything I was doing and took me to another level. Okay, so that's what I want to try to do with this. So Gabriel Sanchez is making this blue steel line on his 5 Senses armor sight. This is his blue steel line. He's making all types of different things. Go check the stuff out. It's very, very cool. He's doing all types of modular things with the bases on the bottom. He's going to have different arrays that you're going to be able to set up and things like that. And think about this too, is that if I wanted to, I could take one of my toppers and put them on the end, and then I could wind up having even more plates. But again, I have this set up very narrow. We just got it. Literally, we drove from his house, set this up, and turned the camera on. Okay, so I'm going to shoot it. We're going to shoot it, and we're going to have some fun. All right, we'll take some more video. Thank you very, very much. Alright, so we got out here today. We did a little bit of experimenting with our new plate rack system. I really like this. This is something that's easy to set up. We got some really good practice out of this. We started out at 10 yards. We shot our guns at 10 yards. And we noticed that we were getting a little sloppy at 10 yards. And then we went back and we shot at the 25 yards. Where we had to refine our fundamentals a little bit more, slow it down quite a bit, and start to get some hits back there, and that started to feel pretty good. And then, of course, we got to go further than what we should. You know, the engagement for a pistol is about a 25-yard maximum. That's about where you can expect to do anything realistic with a pistol. We went back to 45. That's very difficult, especially with the dots. I think next time we come out, I'm going to try it with the iron sights at that distance. The dots start to have an offset where I need to learn some holds. But the 45 yard was a good example of how we need to practice our fundamentals and stick with it. We did that for a little bit, and then we came back up here to 10 yards and pretty much felt like you couldn't miss. So it wound up being some really good practice for us. We're definitely going to put this in the repertoire. We used a lot of resources today. We went through some paint today. We went through some gosh darn bullets in a time that, you know, maybe we shouldn't have gone through so many. But I tell you what, you know, I'd rather be training than, you know, having a crate full of 22 ammo sitting in my garage and, you know, sitting naked on it, you know, eating Captain Crunch or something like that. You know, I don't know. I don't know what people are doing with all this ammo that they're just sitting on. But I'm out here training, and we're going to continue doing this. I'm hoping that all the stuff blows over and we can start to get ammo again soon. But this is definitely going to be one of the ways that I start to practice more with the pistol. I want to make a run at, you know, doing some excellent things with the pistol. End of this season, the beginning of next season, and as I go. So this is what we got. Again, go out and check out Gabriel Sanchez and the things that him and his family are doing. He's going to be over there at 5sensesarmor.com, and again, this is going to be his his bullet steel line. So he's going to be doing a lot of things over there, so check in with him and check in for more of his modular stuff. He's going to be doing a lot of things like this using his stands. So we're going to tear down, we're going to go home and relax, and thank you very much for watching, and I love everybody's feedback. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. All right, well, thank you very much.